she's alive! Alive!
On this episode of Rewind Wednesday, I go way back and look at The Bride of Frankenstein, or as it should be called, Murderous Monster enjoys Cigar with the Disabled. With the upcoming release of Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride, I decided to showcase the inspiration for the movie, James Whale's classic The Bride of Frankenstein. Released in 1935, The Bride of Frankenstein is a sequel to Whale's Frankenstein from 1931. Opening on the heels of that film, Bride of Frankenstein finds our mute monster surviving an attack from the bigoted village folk and wandering the countryside in search of food, shelter, and friendship. Meanwhile, Dr. Frankenstein is recovering from his own ordeal when he's blackmailed into continuing his experiments by Dr. Pretorius, a man who looks almost reanimated himself. I happen to really like this film in spite of its cheesy dialogue and even cheesier melodramatic performances.
Good heavens, Doctor. What are these? We shall see. No, not that. Oh. I thought I was alone.
Under the door! Henry!
Get back! Get back!
I won't unless you come!
The sets in this movie are amazing, and I love the use of miniatures. It's refreshing to see them in contrast to CGI of today. But the title of this movie is a misnomer. We barely get to see the bride in this. From the time she opens her eyes to the last moments we see her on screen, she has less than 4 minutes of screen time. That's it. The movie should be called How to Make Friends When You're a Reanimated Corpse. The blind man in the cabin has way more screen time than that. The challenge for a modern audience to this film is to view it from the perspective that you're not accustomed to, that of the moviegoer from 1935. Consider this. Feature films had only been around for a few decades at this point, and sync dialogue movies had been around less than 10 years. It's in black and white and not in glorious high definition. They didn't make quite nearly as many motion pictures then, so people had less content to consume, and household televisions wouldn't become a thing for at least another 10 years. So the phrase, you get what you get and you don't get upset, was very prevalent then. When rewatching this recently, I couldn't help but wonder if audiences watching this on a Saturday afternoon were screaming at the screen, "Run!" or "Look out!" The film buff nerd in me would geek out to experience that level of enthusiasm for a movie of this nature at that time. I recommend The Bride of Frankenstein. At the time of this recording, it's available on HBO Max, or whatever they're calling it these days, and available to buy or rent on Amazon Prime Video and iTunes. Is it dated by today's standards? Yes. Will you laugh at some of the cheesiness in the movie? Most definitely. But I encourage you to check it out and the other Universal Monster movies at least once. They give us a glimpse of the wonder of cinema from the 1930s, the toddler years, if you will, of filmmaking. Just as characters like Mad Men's Don Draper were influenced by Tony Soprano, horror films from the 1950s through today are all inspired by works of artists such as James Whale nearly 100 years ago. Be sure to come back later this week for my thoughts on The Bride, which opens Friday, March 6th. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.